So I was reading my Bible last night, right? And I came across a very important passage. And it's in Matthew 16:18. And I say unto thee, thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Now here's the thing. Two people can't be telling the truth. It's either Jesus is correct and that the Holy Spirit was able to retain his church on this earth, or Joseph Smith was telling the truth and that there's a great apostasy and that every church is an abomination. Now, the thing is, I'm going to roll with Jesus on this one. When he says that the gates of hell shall not prevail against it, I'm going to trust him that the Holy Spirit was able to keep his church established in the world. Now, are there sects? Yes. Are there abominations? Of course, right? That's going to happen. It was happening in those days, and it's still going on today. And so that's a question you really, really need to start praying about, buddy. Okay. Now, what does the Bible say on false prophets? So for this one, we're going to 2 Corinthians 11:13-15. For such men are false prophets, deceitful workmen disguising themselves as apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. So it is no surprise his servants also disguise themselves as servants of righteousness. Their end will correspond their deeds. You know how Joseph Smith, you know about his end. It wasn't pretty. It really wasn't pretty, right? Homeboy was killed, and it's a legit reason of why he was. And we're also going to look at Deuteronomy 18:20-22. But the prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name that I have not commanded him to speak, or who speaks in the name of other gods, that same prophet shall die. And if you say in your heart, how may we know the word that the Lord has not spoken? Okay, here's the important part. When a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, the word does not come to pass or come true. That is a word that the Lord has not spoken. The prophet has spoken presumptuously. You need not be afraid of him. Okay, so now we have that information. So let's look at a few of the prophecies from Joseph Smith. One was the coming of the Lord. Basically, in 1835, Joseph Smith claimed that Christ is going to come back. I think it was like 56 years or something like that. Well, by 1891, we don't have any record of Christ coming. False prophet. David W. Patton to go on a mission. Homeboy died. He never went on a mission. Never even got started. He also prophesied that the United States government would be overthrown in a few years. That did not happen as well. Congress to be broken up as a government never happened. Not saying it works well, but it never happened. Finding treasure in Salem, Massachusetts. Oh, yeah, they didn't find anything there. It really didn't go well for them at all. Pestilence, hell, famine, and earthquake destroyed the wicked. Oh gosh, man, if I wasn't laughing, I'd be crying while I was reading this. That never came to pass either. Temple to be built in Zion, Missouri. Didn't happen. So if you want to go back and read the actual words of Joseph Smith according to these prophecies that he made, and I believe there's more, you really need to ask yourself that important question: is he a false prophet? And it's clear by definition that Christ is able to keep his church established. There was never this great apostasy that Joseph Smith claimed. That church is the great apostasy. Joseph Smith is leading people away from the true Jesus Christ. God is not a God of flesh. He doesn't live on planet Kolor or whatever you want to call it, all right? His word is ever changing. God has no beginning. God has no end. The God of Abraham, that is. The God the Mormons worship is a God of flesh. That is blasphemous. There's no other way to put it. You worship a guy that presumably became a god and then created Jesus and Satan and made them brothers, right? But the thing is, Jesus, he's always been with God, dude. He always has been. And seriously, man, Read this stuff up for yourself. Look up, like, challenge yourself, dude. Look up his failed prophecies. And if his prophecies are not true, if the root is rotten, then it's not going to bear any fruit. The works are dead. It's an abomination, dude. So, seriously, man, pray for Mormons. Get out of that church. Like I said, I was raised in the church. And it's been extremely heartbreaking when I've had to go back and unlearn everything that I was taught, you know. Even up until recently, I thought there were 3 days of darkness after Jesus Christ's crucifixion. It was 3 hours. Like, Mormons are being led astray, and I don't know what to say other than that. But all I can say, Mormons, this is the only Bible you need. This is the truth, the light, and the way, and it's through Jesus Christ. It's not from anything from Joseph Smith. He met the end that he deserved. God bless.